Good evening, America. Welcome to Battleground Live. I am your host, Sean Parnell. I'm a combat veteran, New York Times best-selling author, but more important than both of those things, I'm a humble servant of America. And folks, we have a country to save. This is the show where we kick ass and we take names and we lock horns with the radical left. We don't back down from a fight, and that is exactly how we like it. From sea to shining sea and everybody in between, welcome to the show, American patriots. And actually, there are some patriots from, other countries from around the world that love and appreciate America, and we're grateful to have you here as well. Anybody that's against the radical, crazy, communist, globalist agenda, we love having you. Folks, I am, a little bit of personal news right off the top. My oldest daughter got her driver's license today, which is kind of awesome. Also kind of scary, I have to say, I don't know. I'm really excited for her. When she was taking the test, I would wager to say that I was probably more nervous for her than she was nervous taking the test. But my wife texted me, Commander Melanie texted me and said that she passed, and we were both so excited. But now it opens up a whole nother level of worry. I mean, we put her through defensive driving classes and stuff like that, and she's taken it very seriously, and she's got a good head on her shoulders. But it doesn't change the fact that as parents, we're kind of worried, right? Well, one, because she's an inexperienced driver. Two, because there are so many distractions on the road now in terms of these cell phones. It's just crazy. And three, you worry about crazy other drivers out there. But, I suppose that's just a part of growing up. And that's why it's kind of bittersweet for me and Melanie. And I know we've talked about this, but, Katie is a senior this year. And it's kind of unbelievable how fast the time has gone. Boy, it doesn't feel like we're that old. I'll tell you that. But time just goes so fast. And again, I remember my grandparents saying to me every time we'd show up at their house for Sunday dinners, grandparents would say, "Oh, you look just so big. You're growing up so fast." And we would just kind of laugh. My brother and sister and me would just laugh and thought it was cliche. Well, Grandpa, Grandma, I completely understand what you are talking about now. And so really big congratulations to Katie. I know it's a big day for her. I know it's a big day. I remember what it was like getting my license and feeling like, you had some level of independence and freedom. So it's a special day. Congrats to our oldest daughter, Katie. We are so proud of you. Also, the Trump rally is tomorrow in Johnstown. I will be there. So just so everybody's tracking, I was trying to find a way to do the show before I made this announcement, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to actually do it. I think the rally itself starts at 4, but we haven't been given any instructions from the Trump campaign as to when we should be arriving. And I'll be speaking tomorrow, and I think I'll probably get an opportunity to see President Trump when he comes into Pennsylvania, as I often do. Especially when he's in central Pennsylvania to the west. Philly's not really my stomping ground. I'm a Pittsburgh guy, a Western Pennsylvania guy through and through. But yeah, I haven't gotten any details on that. And so I'm probably gonna have to be driving. So I probably almost close to a 2-hour drive for us to get out there. So it's gonna be difficult for me to do the show. I tried to plan a show to do a recorded show. Maybe with Dr. Zama, maybe I'll still be able to do that. But apparently he's in Europe right now for work because he's a world-class heart surgeon. So he's supposed to reach out to me tonight. So a lot up in the air, but as of this moment, it looks like there's not going to be a show tomorrow because I'll be with the president and I'll be speaking at the rally. But just stand by. If you see the show go live, then it means I got Dr. Zama and I was able to figure out a way to record, but there's a slim chance of that. I don't think we're going to have enough turnaround time to actually get it done. So just want to give you guys some advance warning on that. But be sure to tune in to my speech tomorrow at the rally. I need the battle crew there representing. So, okay. So make sure you smash that like button. that little green thumb beneath the video. Go ahead and smash it accordingly. We hit the leaderboard. First of all, we broke a viewership record for the show yesterday, over 3,000 live viewers, which is so freaking cool. Like, you remember last year in December, prior to Christmas, we were about 400 live viewers, and I was saying, oh my gosh, it would just be so cool to hit 500 before the end of the year, and we did. And met some amazing people along the way. After that, of course, McGroin Nation and the Battle Crew has grown substantially since then. We're almost to 17,400 subscribers, followers now here on Rumble, which is amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing given that in January of last year, I had no Rumble platform at all, maybe 100 followers. So in a little over a year, when I say we're building a movement, we are. When I say that this is your show, it is. And now our movement, Battle Crew, our movement is over 17,000, almost 17,300 strong. Kudos to you, and thank you for joining this movement. This show is yours, and it just always will be, folks. It always will be. So smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. We hit the leaderboard yesterday at 35, which I think is also pretty damn near the highest we've ever been. So thank you again for that. Okay, talking a lot here. So listen, before we went live on the show today, CNN dropped a preview of the 18-minute interview that they are supposed to do with cackling Kamala Harris tonight. Now, this interview will be recorded, so you can bet your ass that somebody from the Harris campaign, probably Kamala herself, along with Stolen Valor Tampon Tim, received the questions ahead of time. Because it's recorded, they're going to edit it to give her preferential treatment to make her look as good as possible, of course, right? Anybody believe that that's not going to happen? I mean, honestly, I'm in the live chat here. Does anybody, clearly CNN is going to give, along with Dana Bash, preferential treatment to Kamala, right? Answer in the live chat. I want to hear what you all have to say. But they probably did multiple takes as well. And I want you to hear this promotional clip that CNN dropped. And as you listen to this, I want you to keep in mind what I just told you. That CNN probably gave the questions ahead of time, that there were probably multiple takes, that they're probably going to edit this interview to give Kamala favorable treatment. Keep that on the forefront of your mind as you listen to this, teaser for the Kamala Harris, Dana Bash CNN interview tonight. Listen to this.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed.
Keep in mind, they pre-recorded it. It's only 18 minutes. Now, Trump and J.D. Vance, so their media strategy is fascinating because Trump was traveling around the country, right? He's doing these rallies. He's packing these rallies with tens of thousands of America First patriots, giving these 2+ hour long speeches. JD Vance is doing rallies as well. JD Vance is blitzing traditional media. He's blanketing the Sunday shows. He's walking into CNN. He's walking into ABC, NBC, clearly places that will be hostile for JD. And he's handling those interviews like a consummate professional. In fact, I believe that every time JD does an interview like that, he gains more voters for the Trump administration. I think JD Vance has been a brilliant addition to this ticket. I think he handles the media well. I think he understands what time it is. I think that he is unafraid to reject the dishonest premise of many of these media questions being asked of him. He's doing a completely bang-up job. On the other hand, you've got Trump, again, doing all the rallies, doing some traditional media as well. But Trump is blitzing the podcast circuit, much in the same way that in 2016, he blitzed local media coverage, which was arguably one of the reasons why he was able to win in 2016 and flew under the radar doing it. The race for president already nationalized. The Democrats were complacent. They thought Hillary Clinton was going to walk to victory. But Trump was, again, just working his ass off, doing local interviews all across the country. Media totally didn't pay attention to it. Well, what's happening now, media and the Democrats weren't paying attention to it, rather. What's happening now is a different, slightly different version of that strategy. Trump is blitzing the podcast circuit. He did Jake Paul's podcast. He did Theo Vaughn's podcast. He did Sean Ryan. He did the Nelk Boys. He did all of these different podcasts that, by the way, have been seen by millions and millions of highly dedicated viewers. It was on Megyn Kelly. Again, millions of dedicated viewers. And these podcast interviews are long, winding, 2-hour plus conversations. And by the way, that Theo Vaughn interview with President Trump, if you have not seen it, you should go watch it, because it is a powerful interview, and it gets into some personal stuff for Donald Trump about his brother, about alcoholism, about how alcoholism has shaped his family, about how Trump views alcohol as a whole. But my point is this. Kamala could only sit down after 40 plus days in the race for president for 18 minutes on a recorded interview. It's not even live. Talk about, that's some serious bullshit, by the way. And oh, by the way, you got Tim Walz there as a safety blanket for you. This woman is running to be commander in chief. Not only that, I mean, we reject the entire process, selected, not elected, of course. I'm not making comment about that. But this woman was the sitting vice president for almost 4 years now, and she can't even handle an 18-minute pre-recorded interview on CNN alone. Now, that should tell you something. But after watching that clip, it should be quite clear as to why the Democrats and why Democrat leadership and why all these Democrat consultants want to hide her. You see that, right? Listen, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. Now listen to this sentence. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I've worked on it, that is, the climate crisis is real. That it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. What? We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America, and by extension, the globe, around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. So again, we did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We've set goals for the United States of America, and by extension, the globe, around when we should meet certain standards for a reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. As an example, that value has not changed. The Democrats, the Harris campaign, spent 40 days trying to script these answers, and that was the best that they had to offer. what you are seeing and what you just saw in that interview represents the best that the Harris campaign has to offer. Folks, yesterday with Savage Rich Barris, I told you that, and Savage Rich agrees, that Kamala Harris is going to be just a blip on the radar. She's going to be unable to reshape the electorate. She is no Barack Obama. Yes, Barack Obama is radical. Yes, Barack Obama and Kamala Harris have the same policy perspectives. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Barack Obama has charisma and faked it a hell of a lot better than Kamala Harris. And oh, by the way, did not speak in word salad. The more Kamala Harris talks, the more interviews she does, the less popular she will get. So we will see how this 18-minute interview pans out tonight. And believe me, I will be watching it with bated breath because she is just, look, she's just a complete and total moron. I mean, she is not up to the task. She's not up to the job. Also, did you hear about this MSNBC host threatening to sue Corey Lewandowski over what Ari Melbler, I think his name is, actually said? I mean, it was about the Trump assassination. I mean, all of this happened early, a little bit earlier in the day, but it was just so funny that I've got to show you. And it just speaks to how dishonest the media is. And we talk about that often, but you know what? They would not show us any quarter. And let me also tell you this. I have been on the receiving end of fake, bullshit, bogus media narratives. They showed me no quarter. Even though prior to running for office, I was a public figure and interviewed with all of them, it didn't matter. They show us no quarter, and so we show them no quarter. But listen to this. Look at this interview between Ari Melbler, whatever the hell his name is, and Corey Lewandowski. It's hysterical.
Fox News, which has been caught in defamation, ran a false piece, falsely stating that I said something else that I didn't say. So I stand on that. I stand on the New York Times
So you
quote.
didn't say this bandage was a prop spectacle from a candidate who was obsessed with spectacles.
That's fair. A placard for delegates to fill in, an image for political mobilization, a spectacle for this candidate who we know is, by his own admission, obsessed with assorted spectacles. He's Mr. Lewandowski, I did not say that. That is a false quote.
Right here. It's clear.
What you have is a false quote.
What
you have is a false quote. And I'm putting you on notice, if you continue to repeat falsely that I said that, you will be potentially in a defamation situation because I didn't say that. But I understand that you're working off the internet, which is a lot of false information.
This is what it says
I wish you luck with that. And Corey Lewandowski, we gave you time. I appreciate you coming on.
President for that.
Thank you for joining me. Corey Lewandowski, Trump 2024, and we will be right back.
Now, obviously, that was edited to show you that guy is just either he's just a teleprompter reading mouth breather that doesn't retain what he reads off of the teleprompter. Now, we don't read from teleprompters on this show. What you see on this show is completely unvarnished, uncensored here. But maybe, is it fair? Do you think he remembers what he said, or he just reads like a moron off the teleprompter? But clearly, he was insulting President Trump in the wake of a horrific assassination attempt. And by the way, the ear is notorious. It bleeds a lot, and it's notoriously difficult to bandage. But he gets called on it. Now he starts threatening to sue people, and he locks his Twitter account. So people can't throw that clip in his face. Again, the media shows us no quarter, so we don't show them any quarter either. Okay, let me tell you about Sweetamine. Jeez, we're already 20 minutes into the show. Holy smokes. Okay, Sweetamine is amazing, especially if you're suffering from chronic pain. Sweetamine works because it's comprised mainly of the amino acid glycine, and that's the nutrient the immune system uses to regulate inflammation in our bodies. Most of the diseases that make people sick and die these days are rooted in chronic inflammation, mainly due to a glycine deficiency. Folks, America, we do not get enough glycine in our diet, and our body doesn't produce enough of it to combat all the chronic inflammation that we experience, especially if you've suffered from a lot of injuries, or you were an athlete back in the day, or you're just getting older and have some aches and pains, I'm telling you, all of that is caused by chronic inflammation. Most of these other diseases that people suffer from as they get older are also rooted in chronic inflammation. That's where they start. So this bone broth trend, I know I said this on the last couple of shows, and the reason why I'm saying it is because there is a trend of people out there who will just integrate bone broth into their diet, and they swear by it because it makes them feel better. Well, the reason why bone broth works is because it's giving people, their glycine for the day. It diminishes chronic pain. It makes people more functional. It's not a cure-all. It doesn't remove all of your pain, right? It doesn't. It's not like an opiate-based pain medication where you take enough of them and you're like, you just want to eat an entire block of cheese and sit on the couch and bellow. It's not like that. It doesn't make you feel high. It slowly over time diminishes the pain that you feel in your body, and it works. I've been taking it for a couple of months now, and Sweetamine has been on board with the show since we were little. They've stuck with us all year, and we're lucky to have them with us. But once daily serving of Sweetamine provides 8 grams of glycine, and that's enough to stop all excess inflammation right where it starts. With once daily Sweetamine, most people feel the reduction in pain after just a few days, folks. I'm telling you, this stuff really, really works. Sweetamine is also great for recovery after workouts. So a 12-day challenge trial pack of Sweetamine, only $19.95 with free shipping. It's sold completely risk-free. So if you think it sucks, you can send it back. No questions asked. You don't like the taste. You think it's not working. No questions asked. You get your money back. Use Sweetamine just like sugar. So you sprinkle it in a glass of lemonade, in a protein shake, in a smoothie, take it any way you want. Super easy. No sugar, no carbs. Only 24 calories, perfectly safe for diabetics out there. So you can get Sweetamine online at sweetamine.com, SWEETAMINE.com, or call 855-GET-SWEET. That's 855-438-7933. So 855-GET-SWEET, 855-438-7933, or go to sweetamine.com. Use the promo code Sean, SEAN, and you get a $5 discount. So it's awesome. You should try it. It works. Be patient with it, but it definitely works. Also, if you're on the lookout for a top-notch transportation service or limo service, whether it's for corporate travel or really any other adventure, you are in luck, because we've got the inside scoop on a company that's all about luxury, reliability, and exceptional customer service. And that company's name is Book a Limo. This is another sponsor that we've had since the beginning of the year, and we're grateful for them. Book a Limo is a direct competitor with Uber and Lyft. Book a Limo is conservative. Uber and Lyft are not. We should not give our money to companies that do not share our values. What sets them apart? It's their prices at Book a Limo. It's their customer service at Book a Limo. Their prices are in line with Uber for Uber Black cars or Uber SUVs, except for the level of customer service that you get at Book a Limo is through the roof. The professional chauffeurs that show up in the airport with a little sign that says your name. You get their driver's cell phone number. While they're with you and on call, you text them, you call them, they're there, and they respond in seconds. It's a full service experience, folks. So whether it's the dead of night or crack of dawn, you can pick up the phone, text your driver, direct line to your driver. It's really awesome. Also, every Book a Limo driver has driver certification training and extensive background checks. So you know that the person knows how to drive and they are who they say that they are. So safety is of paramount importance to them. So give them a call, 1-800-BOOK-A-LIMO. That's 1-800-BOOK-A-LIMO, or book online at bookalimo.com. That's www.bookalimo.com, bookalimo.com. State-of-the-art website, folks. Trust me, they're your go-to for a safe, luxurious ride that you absolutely deserve. It's a VIP experience, and the battle crew deserves a VIP experience. Okay, this media narrative that you all need to be aware of. I'm telling you, this stuff has been making me so angry. This attack on Trump. We covered a few days ago on the show Trump attending a memorial service at Arlington National Cemetery for the families of the fallen of the 13 Americans who were killed during the disastrous surrender, the Biden surrender in Afghanistan. Biden was at the beach. I don't know if he knew he was at the beach, but he was at the beach sitting there comatose. Kamala, who the hell knows where Kamala was? I think maybe she put out a post on X. That's about it. The president and vice president were nowhere to be found. But President Trump was there. President Trump was there at the request of the Gold Star families who had lost their loved ones during Biden's disastrous surrender. I showed you some clips of what I believed was a very, very powerful moment of Trump and the chief of staff of Arlington National Cemetery, a soldier from the old guard in his dress blues laying a wreath at a memorial site. And it was remarkable to me because Trump, even though I believe he legitimately won in 2020, he is not the commander in chief. But he showed up when these families requested him to show up. I mean, think about that. Trump is he is the most famous person in the world. He is arguably one of the most powerful people in the world. And these families asked for him to share in their grief with them. And President Trump showed up. As busy as that man is, yeah, he's running a campaign for president, but trust me when I tell you, having been to many of these memorial ceremonies, it is not easy to be there. It is very, very, very difficult, and it's very powerful. But as a leader, you've got a responsibility to go, a duty, a responsibility, and frankly, it's an honor to be there and to share in the pain with those who have sacrificed everything for this country. It's an honor to be there with them as they grieve, and Trump showed up. I mean, what does that tell you about the kind of person that this man is? And I've told you from day one on this show that the media doesn't give Trump a fair shake, that they're hostile to him and his family. But Trump, at his core, is a very, very, very good person that cares a lot about people, but especially our military. And it's disgusting to me that the media, because they know that Trump cares about our military, our media attacks him for it and tries to destroy his relationship and his bond with veterans and our active duty military. It really upsets me. So NPR, a taxpayer-funded media organization, which they should not receive one singular penny from the American taxpayer, why are we giving our taxpayer dollars to NPR when NPR uses those dollars to then turn around and indoctrinate half of this country that listens to them? Why they haven't been defunded decades ago is beyond me. If people supported NPR, if enough people listen to NPR, they don't need tax subsidies. They don't need that safety net from the government. And frankly, they don't deserve it. They lie and they gaslight. They're some of the worst media propagandists out there, and they are the ones that started this fake BS, disgusting narrative against Trump that he broke some sort of federal law for daring to show up and grieve with families of the fallen. And to their credit, these Gold Star families stood up for President Trump. They released a statement supporting him in the face of just the relentless onslaught of dishonest media attacks. The Gold Star family said, "We would like to express our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to President Donald J. Trump for his presence at the recent Section 60 gathering, honoring our children and their fallen brothers and sisters," the Gold Star family said. On the 3-year anniversary of the Abbey Gate bombing, President and his team conducted themselves with nothing but the utmost respect and dignity for all of our service members, especially our beloved children, they added. Now, the media outlet at NPR, this propaganda outlet, said that two members of Donald Trump's campaign staff had a verbal and physical altercation Monday with an official at Arlington National Cemetery where the former president participated in a wreath-laying ceremony. A source with knowledge of the incident said the cemetery official tried to prevent Trump staffers from filming and photographing in a section where recent U.S. casualties are buried. That's section 60. The source said Arlington officials had made clear that only the cemetery staff members would be authorized to take photographs or film in that area known as section 60. Now, of course, the Trump campaign has refuted this because it's sickening and bogus. And what broke today from the great Henry Rogers at the Daily Caller is that these very same Gold Star families who lost loved ones during the disastrous surrender, Biden's disastrous surrender in Afghanistan, had trouble even getting into Arlington until Speaker Mike Johnson rose up and defended them. Do you want to know why? The Biden administration and the Harris administration threw up roadblocks to Gold Star families because I guarantee you Biden and Harris weren't invited. The Biden and Harris administration has completely shunned and ignored these families. These Gold Star families have said since their sons and daughters were killed, they haven't heard from Kamala Harris not one single time. That is disgraceful. Frankly, it's a dereliction of duty. It's disqualifying for somebody who served this country. And the fact that they tried to throw roadblocks up so that these Gold Star families couldn't all mourn together is sickening. This from Henry Rogers' piece at the Daily Caller. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson had to intervene to get former President Donald Trump into Arlington National Cemetery for the 3rd anniversary of the Afghanistan withdrawal with Gold Star families, a family told the Daily Caller. The Gold Star families who lost their children during the Biden administration's withdrawal from Afghanistan invited Trump to Arlington National Cemetery. He laid a wreath there for the 13 service members who were killed serving their country in Afghanistan. However, a Gold Star family told the caller that the Arlington National Cemetery was trying to make it difficult for the former president to appear for the ceremony to honor their children, something that the families themselves requested. Arlington National Cemetery told Gold Star families that they could only be there for a specific time that did not work for everyone's schedule, and were also told the president could not join them at their children's grave sites, the family told the caller. This is absolutely sickening. When I talk about the deep state, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These unionized federal government employees, who, by the way, are probably all Democrats, are just working in conjunction with the Biden administration to screw President Trump over. So U.S. Army veteran Lucas O'Hara, who was at Arlington Cemetery on Monday, so listen to this. U.S. Army veteran Lucas O'Hara, who was at Arlington Cemetery on Monday, honoring those killed at Abbey Gate on the 3rd anniversary of the bombing in Afghanistan. He said, and I quote, "I have witnessed over 75 wreath-laying ceremonies performed by politicians and conducted 524 funerals in this cemetery during the time I served in the Presidential Honor Guard for 3 years. What I got to witness yesterday was the most respectful and solemn ceremony I have seen. There were no speeches, no angles, no weird photo ops, just our elected officials and the 45th president respectfully and solemnly honoring the fallen and their families." Now, you would think that this is something that would be celebrated by everybody in this country. Democrat, Republican, Independent, other, a halfway honest media would celebrate this. Well, the U.S. Army came out and issued a statement on the incident in Arlington, and they said federal law prohibits election-related activities at military cemeteries. Pentagon officials were concerned about Trump turning the visit into a campaign stop. but they didn't want to block him from coming, according to a Department of Defense official. So you see what I'm saying? Pentagon officials were concerned about Trump turning the visit into a campaign stop. Screw you, man. Do you know why? Because Biden visited Arlington National Cemetery. Biden did a damn video from Arlington National Cemetery. Barack Obama issued pictures from Arlington National Cemetery. In fact, he spoke at Arlington National, Barack Obama did, on 9/11, and then linked that speech to a fundraising link after he left. So why does it only matter when it's a Republican? The Washington Post, how a Trump visit sparked turmoil at one of America's most sacred cemeteries. Maggie Haberman, the New York Times, contacted by the New York Times, Michelle Marcansano issued a statement from the family saying they support the family searching for accountability around the Abbey Gate bombing. However, she said their conversations with Arlington officials indicated that the Trump staff didn't adhere to the rules. This is the New York Times. Seriously? We hope that those visiting this sacred site understand that those were real people who sacrificed for our freedom and that they are honored and respected accordingly, she added. She declined to answer additional questions about the gravestones' appearances in the photos. In Biden's campaign, like one of his videos that he posted from his official account, you could see gravestones with names on them in the video. Crickets from the media, crickets from the Washington Post, crickets from Maggie Haberman in the New York Times. Same thing with Barack Obama. You could see headstones with names on it. Nothing from the Washington Post, nothing from the New York Times, nothing from NPR. It only seems to matter when it's a Republican. And of course, MSNBC wasted no time getting in on what is quickly becoming yet another hoax.
And to have a normal campaign, a quote normal campaign, a campaign of years past, if there had been an altercation between a staffer, a campaign staffer, and someone who works in the cemetery, it would be the campaign staffer sort of immediately fired or at least suspended. Instead, we have the Trump team doubling and tripling down and defending that staffer and attacking the person at the cemetery. And it does reiterate, as Sam said, what the Harris team is saying. And others in the political world are saying. The nation is just exhausted by Donald Trump and these hijinks.
You know what I'm exhausted by? I'm exhausted of the nonstop media lies. I'm exhausted by the nonstop media hoaxes. You had Biden oversee that disastrous surrender that killed 13 precious Americans. You had Kamala bragging about being the last person in the room, saying everything was totally fine. You have Tim Walz as her vice presidential candidate who sent soldiers into combat, into harm's way, didn't go with them, abandoned them at the last possible second, and then used their service in Iraq, acted like he was there to climb a political ladder. And here you have Trump going to Arlington National Cemetery to support these families at their invitation, and somehow Trump is the one that's wrong? My God. Is this how far the media in this country has fallen? But MSNBC, they doubled down. They went even farther on this.
We were ticking through earlier in the show the long list of times where Donald Trump has indeed denigrated the service of others, including those who have given their lives for the country. And as you see it, he did it again this week.
Well, this is the great paradox of Donald Trump. His own record of non-service is of course, well documented. But so is this long record of denigrating the service of others and his contempt. And yet he continues to wrap himself as the champion of the military. And many veterans seem to think that he is an ally of the military. But you walk through, you look at this picture that you're showing right now. I mean, there's something deeply unnatural about this. Who posing with a thumbs up in front of the grave of a foe?
Everybody is there, huge smiles on their faces. Everybody's giving a thumbs up. Do you want to know why they're happy? Of course, it's a solemn, sad moment. They're remembering their son or their daughter who gave the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of a grateful nation. Yeah, but yes, these are solemn, sad moments. But they're also celebratory because they celebrate the life of those who gave everything for our freedom. What they would want is us to live our life to the fullest. You understand that, right? Those people, you could see it in their faces that they were excited that the 45th president of the United States took time out of his day to go to something that was very difficult. It's not easy to go to those events. It's not easy to sit in pain with families who've lost loved ones, who, by the way, have been completely ignored by the administration in this country. So yeah, look at their faces. They're happy and excited that the 45th president took time out of his day to be there with them. And so yes, they're giving a thumbs up. But now, NBC now is even asking Kelly Hoover, who is a Gold Star mother, questions about why she invited Trump in the first place. To me, it's just disgusting because these Gold Star families should not have to answer these depraved and shitty questions from our media. But again, here we are.
Kelly Barnett invited the former president to Arlington. Her son, Marine Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover, died at Abbey Gate. What would you say to people who may be pro-Trump, anti-Trump, whatever their politics might be, who just feel like that's not a place for politicians or for politics?
I would have to say, are you in my shoes? I invited him. My son was murdered under the Biden-Harris administration.
She should have never had to answer that question, but good for her on not backing down. I'm sorry, are you in my shoes? My son was killed under the Biden-Harris administration. Good on her for not backing down. All right, let me tell you about My Patriot Supply. I am a very, very proud American. And that means if you come after me or my family, I'll be ready. And that's why I rely on My Patriot Supply. Their mega 3-month emergency food kit comes jam-packed with 33 varieties of filling and delicious foods. Not only does that include creamy chicken flavored rice, old-fashioned Italian spaghetti, and savory cheesy broccoli soup, you'll also get a bonus protein kit with diced beef, flavorful chicken chunks, and 3 varieties of beans. Plus 9 different fruits, vegetables, and snacks. All in all, this emergency food kit provides a whopping 2,500 calories per day to keep you well fed and ready for anything. The way I see it, it's my solemn duty as an American to protect my family without waiting on handouts. Folks, if things go south, they will go south quickly. Make sure you are ready for that moment. I mean, there is no harm in preparing yourself and protecting your family. I mean, to me, it's just common sense. All of this preparation starts with food that you can depend on for 25 years. So go to preparewithvnn.com right now. Save $300 on your mega 3-month emergency food kit. That's preparewithvnn.com right now. $300 off. It ships fast. It ships free. Preparewithvnn.com. Save $300. That is preparewithvnn.com. Also, folks, brand new sponsor here on the show. That is the Wellness Company. So Commander Melanie and I, we love these Wellness Company kits. They come chock full of custom antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics. If things go south, again, they go south quickly, and it'd be real hard to get to a pharmacy and get the medicine that you need. And very, very simple bacterial infections can become fatal if you're not ready. And so Commander Melanie and I, we've got a Wellness Company emergency medical kit. We've got antibiotics prepped here at the house. And all of this is something that the Wellness Company can help you with. You know the Wellness Company, they've got great doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough. He's with their organization. The Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals that you can trust, and their line of prescription medical kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. So whether it's the medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. So from anthrax to tick bites, from COVID to bird flu, from a trip to the beach to a trip overseas, The Wellness Company has a prescription kit designed to keep you and your family safe. You should definitely check them out. They've got antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics on hand to keep you and your family safe from whatever these radical leftist, communist, globalists throw at us next. So this is very important. Go to www.twc.health/battleground. That's www.twc.health/battleground today in order. So make sure you do not forget the promo code Battleground so they can track this back to our show. That's twc.health/battleground and use the promo code Battleground to save 10%. Yeah, folks, listen, this Gold Star mom stuff drives me crazy. But there's also some other stuff that's driving me crazy as well. I mean, it takes, you got to be like a soulless loser to abandon our Gold Star families in their hour of need. And what I mean by that is not that Biden and Harris didn't show up to their memorial's 3-year anniversary of their death. They weren't invited. But they could have showed up after the fact. Biden checked his watch at the dignified transfer of remains. Kamala has been MIA on this issue. The Biden administration has completely abandoned those that were lost during that surrender. He hasn't showed up for them at all. I feel like that's completely disgraceful. You know what else is disgraceful? This invasion that is happening at our southern border. Folks, things are getting bad. Things are getting really bad. Now, we live in a huge country with a lot of open land. And so many of us, I don't know if you're feeling the heat. I don't know if you live by the border. I know we'd have people that listen and watch the show that I hear from regularly that do. But my fear is that most of America has not fully woken up to the dire threat that this poses. In many ways, their lives haven't really been affected. But I'm here to tell you that this is getting bad and going to get bad very, very fast. Did you see the story about the Venezuelan gang in Colorado slowly taking over buildings? This is a real thing. Look and listen. These illegal alien gangs are slowly taking over buildings in Colorado. The mayor of Aurora, Colorado, was on Fox News with Dana Perino today, saying that they are losing control of portions of their city, and these gang members, these roving gangs are taking over buildings there. Did you hear the story of the illegal alien invaders who tried to take school buses with children on them? If you haven't, listen to this.
And now to a developing story out of the East County tonight. 2 school bus routes in the Hamul-Dolzura Union School District were interrupted for 2 straight days after several migrants tried to board school buses. Our Sarah Legre has the story tonight.
Well, yeah, there have been 2 migrant encounters in the past 2 days involving school buses and young children here at Hamul-Dolzura USD. Now, no one was injured and all students are safe, but parents are angry.
Your initial shock is you're helpless.
It's practice night for Nicole Cardinale and her son Apollo. It's the ordinary, but their morning certainly wasn't.
20 illegal migrants tried to get on the bus today at one of our bus stops.
Hours earlier, she got this email letting Nicole know her 8-year-old son was aboard his school bus heading to Hamul Elementary when all of a sudden...
Really confused. He said these adults, they weren't kids. He said, but they had backpacks on, Mom, and they tried to get on our bus. He said, and there was a lot of them.
The district confirmed 20 migrants tried to board the bus Wednesday morning when it stopped to pick up students here along its B route. That's when parents and the driver stepped in, keeping the migrants at bay.
It was definitely really scary.
It also happened Tuesday along Route A, shown here in orange near State Route 94. 3 men walked along the highway trying to stop the bus to, quote, go around their group.
Folks, this is bad. I have warned about this for quite some time, that our school buses are very, very vulnerable. There's almost no protection. They drive the same routes every day. They stop at the same places every single day. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Our schools have got to do something to protect these school buses. And this comes on the heels of this sound leaking from Kamala Harris talking about removing police from our schools. It's exactly the wrong thing, the opposite of what needs to be done. And it's like almost every day there's a story not picked up by the national media on the local news of American citizens being killed by illegal alien invaders.
Hold these people accountable for their actions.
After losing her husband less than 3 months ago, Deanne will walk into a courtroom on Friday to tell a judge why the man who crashed into her husband deserves the maximum sentence. A sentence she feels is far too short.
Mad because the most this man could get is a year for murdering my husband because the DA refused to charge him with more charges.
So how short is a 1-year sentence? Earlier this year, a truck driver in Weld County was sentenced to 16 years for a deadly crash on I-25. A couple years back, the same district attorney's office in Jefferson County, who prosecuted the truck driver who killed 4 people on I-70, that driver got a 110-year sentence before the governor stepped in to reduce it. Deanne still trying to wrap her mind around why more charges weren't filed before this driver had the opportunity to plead guilty.
Mark, as you've shown us, there's often kind of the dual prosecution. You got the trucker on one side, you got the trucking company on the other.
Yeah, and we can report tonight that the DA's office is still looking into that trucking company that this driver was driving for. Monique Trucking has a history of violations, including allowing drivers to be on the road without proper commercial driver's licenses. The DA's office is looking into them in that investigation.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It is not an exaggeration to say that we now live in a country where non-citizen, illegal alien invaders get preferential treatment by our justice system, while American patriots are locked up for simply love of country and in defense of our Constitution. This is happening all over this country. These elected officials, Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State of Michigan, telling local elected officials who dare to challenge an election, might not certify an election because of fraud, says to them aggressively, directly to the camera, don't do it or we will come after you. Not a single, and I mean not one single Democrat politician is using those words for illegal alien invaders who are killing American citizens, trying to get on buses with school children, Venezuelan gangs taking over entire buildings in Aurora, Colorado. No, Democrats don't say shit about that, but if you dare protest our elections and maybe not certify one, we will come after you. You see what's happening here, folks. We live in an extraordinarily dangerous time and everything is on the line this election cycle. Now, how does Kamala Harris feel about all of this? What's her perspective when she says that her values haven't changed in that CNN interview at the lead-in of this show? What are those values that hadn't changed? Let's see.
It is wrong to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
So Bill Malugin reported from Fox News today that the Harris campaign confirmed to Fox News that Harris has reversed several of her prior positions on immigration, including decriminalizing illegal crossings, a pledge to close ICE detention centers, and the idea that ICE should be abolished or, quote, started from scratch. Regarding decriminalizing illegal crossing, a Harris campaign official tells Fox VP Harris's position is that unauthorized border crossings are illegal. Well, damn, that seems like a pretty big change, doesn't it? Regarding abolishing or starting ICE from scratch, a Harris campaign official tells Fox her position aligns with the Biden administration and what's in the bipartisan border bill, including increased funding for ICE and the border and border security. Regarding closing ICE detention centers, a Harris campaign official tells Fox Harris's position is the same as the Biden administration's, which is continuing to ensure sufficient resources. I mean, you see what's happening here, right? This is not, and I'm going to go back to what I warned you about a couple days ago. This is not Kamala Harris coming out and saying that she's changing positions. These are anonymous campaign staffers. So God forbid if she wins and her values have not changed, she just said it in the lead into this show, she can turn around and say, I never said that. Just some anonymous campaign official said it. Don't fall for it. Okay, Genesis Gold Group. With so many options available for Americans to protect their retirement wealth with physical precious metals, it's hard to know who to trust. Our partners at Genesis Gold Group are a faith-driven gold and silver company that's unabashedly America first. They don't try to hook people with free silver that isn't really free. Instead, they treat their customers with respect and help guide them through a process to securing their retirement. You know, over the last month or so, gold has hit an all-time high. Over the course of my lifetime, our dollar has lost something like 90% of its value. Gold and silver, I'm not an investment guy, has kept and retained its value and even grown slowly but surely along the way. So, you know, it makes sense to hedge if you've got a retirement, to hedge, you know, at least some or a portion of your retirement with precious metals, gold and silver. Why not call Genesis Gold to learn more about the process? So visit rumblegold.com today to get their free definitive gold guide. That's rumblegold.com. Rumble, like this website, gold.com. Also, Red Beach Nation. Red Beach Nation is an awesome conservative apparel and beachwear company for freedom-loving Americans. So whether you live at the beach, you're traveling to one, or you just want to imagine yourself there, Red Beach Nation's comfy patriotic apparel is sure to lift your spirits. It's founded by a former counterterrorism officer and war veteran of both the Afghan and Iraq wars. Red Beach Nation is committed to upholding the American values and principles that we all hold so dear. Red Beach Nation is pure Americana, spangly, red, white, and blue type stuff, and I absolutely love it. So come live the sand, surf, and freedom lifestyle with us. Head on over to redbeachnation.com. Use the promo code Sean, S-E-A-N, save 10% off of your order. Again, that's redbeachnation.com, and use the promo code Sean to save 10% off of your order. So I've been telling you about the fact that Kamala Harris is a liar, that Kamala Harris now magically reversed all of her positions on, well, basically everything. But circling back Jen Psaki style to the CNN interview, she says her values haven't changed. So there's a couple other lies that leaked today. There's so many, it's hard to keep track of. But Kamala Harris lied about the number of cases that she prosecuted as a federal prosecutor. Don't believe me? Listen.
You should be embarrassed as a prosecutor that you've had 6 cases overturned, 4 of which have been for prosecutorial misconduct.
I'm glad you corrected.
Ms.
Harris, how many cases have you tried? Can you tell us how many serious felonies you have tried? Can you tell us one?
I've tried about 50 cases, Mr. Fazio, and it's about leadership.
Ms. Harris, why does your information, which is still published, say that you tried hundreds of serious felonies? I think that's misleading. I think that's disingenuous. I think that shows that you are incapable of leadership and you're not to be trusted. You've continued to put out information which says you have tried hundreds of serious felonies.
Mr. Fazio, leadership
Can
is
you answer
about
my question?
working with different communities. As a career prosecutor, I've done that, which is why I, not you, have every law enforcement organization.
Also, Kamala Harris claimed that she worked at McDonald's, but she never mentioned that job until she ran for president. She said, I did fries. I did fries. Well, people are, of course, checking into this and saying, well, a source at McDonald's corporate tells me that they have no record of Kamala Harris ever working for them around the time and place she claims. So here you have Tim Walz, who almost every aspect of his life is a complete and total fabrication, never conceived his children via IVF, was not a combat veteran, did not carry a weapon in war, did not attain the rank of command sergeant major despite etching it on coins. Now you have Kamala Harris flip-flopping on every major position that she has, which, by the way, Dana Bash in her first interview, again, I've never really heard the multiple choice question format, but first time for everything. Did you notice how Dana Bash in her first questions and Kamala Harris's first interview gave Kamala Harris answers to the question in the actual question that she was posing? Absolutely shameless hack losers. Everything about this campaign is fake. It's fake. Hoaxes, lies, vibes, 2024. That should be their slogan. Hoaxes, lies, and vibes. That's it. That's all they bring to the table. And I'm telling you this, folks, because I do not believe it's going to work. I believe the American people will see through the bullshit. I just do. Demanda, thank you for the Rumble Rant tip. I see she says, please tell President Trump that the battle crew loves him. Demanda, I promise you, I will do that for you. Also, make sure that you smash that like button. That little green thumb beneath the video, smash it. Also, try to watch my speech tomorrow at the Trump rally. I love having the battle crew represent on social media. I love having your support. Tell your family and your friends to subscribe to Battleground Live. As always, folks, I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow at the Trump rally. If you're there, come up, say hi. If not, until Monday, God bless you all, folks, and God bless this amazing country that we call home. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Trump rally tomorrow if you watch it. Take care. Good night.